Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. revealing a significant change when it comes to food dyes. He's now planning to phase out 8 artificial food dyes that color so much of the food at your grocery store. They're found in popular products, everything from Cheetos to M&Ms, Skittles. He has long argued the dyes could be harmful. He wants them removed by the end of 2026.
RFK announced the FDA is banning 8 artificial food dyes.
You have got to be kidding me.
Those dyes have been linked to increased hyperactivity in children and increased cancer risks. The only reason these dyes were approved in the first place is the FDA deemed the evidence linking them to children hyperactivity insufficient in 2011. Bro, these dyes are literally made out of petroleum, based from the same crude oil you put in your car. So one reason why there isn't a ton of human-based evidence is researchers have seen it as immoral to ingest kids with these dyes for testing, so instead we just kept illegal for everybody. Okay, but the crude oil goes through a long process of chemical extraction and purification to become edible. Edible enough to cause you cancer. Okay, sure, but then what about alcohol, which also increases cancer risk and depression and anxiety symptoms and liver disease? And oh, what about fried food, which increases your risk for cardiovascular disease? Are we gonna ban those too? The difference is our culture embraces alcohol and fast food and finds value in their existence. Artificial food dyes, on the other hand, bring literally no value other than deceiving the brains of our children by artificially making unhealthy foods like hot Cheetos and sour candies look more appealing. I, for one, enjoy the redness of my Skittles and the tealness of my Baja Blast. Well, the EU and Canada already banned these dyes and instead use things like beet juice and spinach powder to color their food. Oh yeah, let's be more like Canada. You could use a little Canadian kindness. I'll stick a kind bar up your ass.
By the end of 2026, the snacks you and me grew up on may disappear. I'm talking Skittles, Sour Patches, Hot Cheetos, etc. The list goes on. Even the ones in the background. The US government just announced a plan to ban the last 8 artificial food dyes that's in my food and your food. It's not just a health thing, y'all. It's a whole war of the foods that we put on our cabinet. And if you ask me, this is a big W. The health officials announced what we already knew, that this shit leads to ADHD, cancer, and more. But the question is, why now? And why was they letting us eat this shit from the beginning? If they knew all these other countries wasn't eating it, why did they allow us to eat it? Make it make sense. Red 40, yellow 5, blue 1, all gonna be gone. But like I said, it should have been gone. After all these other countries announced that they was getting rid of it because of the health issues it was causing, we should have did it. If we was so ahead of all these other countries, like I said, we would have been did it. So what changed? This week, Health Secretary RFK Jr. said enough is enough. He didn't seen what it done to people, probably did something to him, and he said, yeah, I'm in charge, so I'm getting this shit out of here. This is for the people that eat this every day. You gotta understand that it's not gonna taste the same. So hold your videos talking about, oh, this is nasty. It's helping you. So your favorite little snack that you used to love, that was bad for you, it's gonna taste different and it's gonna look different. So don't be surprised. So the question I ask now, are we finally waking up, or are we just trading flavors for fear?
You already know what's gonna happen. In a couple of days, they're gonna have a bunch of articles start to come out, mainstream articles, stating that a panel of quote-unquote health experts have come together to say that the dyes that RFK Jr. and the FDA want to remove from the US food supply are not that bad. That's what they're gonna do. Then they're going to say, you should resist this misinformation, this health misinformation, all right? Then what they're gonna do is they're going to encourage you to continue to resist. They're gonna make it as part of your identity, being anti-Trump, anti-anything that anyone who is pro-Trump is saying. Then, fast forward a few years, and what's gonna happen is they're gonna say, oh, sorry, new science has emerged stating that actually those are harmful to you. But by that point, the damage will already be done. They've done this before, they will do this again. This is part of their agenda, so don't be surprised.
Have you guys heard of Red 40? Well, it looks like the US FDA has planned to phase out 8 synthetic food dyes by 2026. Okay guys, let's break this down. Apparently this is a part of the Make America Healthy Again strategy. The targeted food dyes include Red 40, Yellow 5, Blue 1, just to name a few. Yes, this will affect foods such as hot Cheetos and even Skittles, but honestly the list goes on and on. Yes, the dyes enhance food coloring and stuff like that. However, they have been linked to dangerous things such as cancer, thyroid issues, behavioral problems in children. This significant change does not come without consequences. It will make the cost of snacks and foods skyrocket. Natural foods such as this will essentially be our new food coloring. If you pay attention, these cannot be mass produced, meaning some corners will have to be cut and those corners will be our pockets. Follow for more.
So they're finally going to ban food coloring. And here's all the companies that wanted to poison us. Apparently, if you're having a stomach ache, you should add Red 22 and Red 40. You definitely can't say mouthwash without Red 33 and Green 3. If you want to smell like a giant octopus, you can use Blue 1 and Yellow 5. There's tons of alternatives for body wash. There's tons of alternatives for mouthwash. And re-inoculating your gut health, you don't need that. You got a headache? Bam, food coloring. Blue 1, Red 40, Yellow 10. Headaches go away when you restore your gut health. Does your little one have a cough? Well, of course, just give him some Red 40. And also Red 40. Notice in all the things that you put in your mouth, there's also sucralose. Not good for the gut. Most all of your candies are going to get completely wiped out because they all have food colorings in them. Or at least they should, but probably won't. Oh, and I guess it's already 4th of July at Walmart. Ew. Ah, okay, that's why. So what we should all pay attention to here is the foods that have these food colorings. They're going to change, but only because they're required to. So I have no idea if the yellow pickles are going to stop being yellow because of Yellow 5. You should find it very interesting that your medicine has the same things as your candy. Oh, oops, the ingredients in the food are not good because other countries have banned them? I guess Lucky Charms isn't so lucky after all. What do they got in here? Red, yellow, and blue. Woo! It's like the day I learned the cherries are red because they're colored to be red. Now, if you want to go one layer deeper and you're not just here for food coloring, check the rest of this out. So your Fruity Pebbles, right? They're going to use food coloring in here. Pay attention to the other ingredients. You've got your BHT, you've got your soybean oil, you have your salt, and you're going to have your sugar. Now, what companies have been doing is manipulating the dopamine receptors in our brain, making us eat foods that signal a reward system. I would eat this entire box as a kid, and then I started learning, okay, wait, sugar, soybean oil, there's your BHT, and there's your salt. These ingredients are all going to repeat themselves, right? You see caramel calorie. And what I'm explaining here is hyperpalatability. These foods that have the sugar, oil, and salt mix, some of them are added food colorings as well. They know very well when they create these. Sugar, inverted sugar, vegetable oils, palm oils, and salts, and food colorings. Pay attention to the companies that were clearly using things that are bad and they're using other things that are bad. And they're going to be guilty by association. You can use like Takis as an example, right? Takis is going to give you your vegetable oil, your salt, your sugar, and your food coloring. All of the most horrible brands for your gut health have that concoction inside of it. You can see Funyuns partnered with Flamin' Hot Cheetos to create your sugar, oil, and salt plus food coloring mix. These should technically be illegal, but here's what I want you to pay attention to. High fructose corn syrup, food colorings, citric acid, and then natural flavors. Large corporation clearly going to give you some high fructose corn syrup, sugar, oil, and salt. See the sugar, oil, soybean oil right there, and the high fructose corn syrup, and your natural flavor. It's like they said, darn, you caught us. We'll go ahead and fix some things, but not everything. So when everybody was asking me what I thought about the food dyes, I thought, well, they're already banned in my mind, and you shouldn't have to wait for the government to tell you they should be banned in yours. Because after a while, it gets a little bit old. They put cannoli oil, red 40, and high fructose corn syrup in fruit punch. I think the win here for humanity is that the next generation of children doesn't have to be subject to the same ingredients that we were. Where we grew up on sugar, oil, salt, preservatives, emulsifiers, colorings, and then we had ADD, ADHD, ODD, depression, anxiety, all the other mental health problems. You know, this is way worse than food coloring, but nobody talks about it. So please, just make better decisions.